Let me tell you something, friend. You were not born with doubt in your heart. You were not created with fear sewn into your bones. Those things, they were picked up from the world, from voices that didn't know better, from people who handed you their own broken beliefs and called them reality. But deep down, beyond all that noise, there's a fire, a spark, a belief in something more. You might have forgotten it. Life has a way of throwing cold water on dreams and calling it being realistic. But I'm here to remind you, that fire is still there. And if you're willing to feed it, if you're willing to protect it, there ain't a storm in this world that can put it out. You see, I've been around long enough to watch people climb mountains with nothing but grit and belief. I've seen single mothers build empires, young men rise from poverty to purpose, folks who were told, "You'll never make it, smile down from the top of the ladder." And the one thing they all had in common? An unstoppable belief system. Now listen close. Because belief isn't just some fluffy word you slap on a coffee mug. Belief is a muscle. It's a decision. It's the courage to say, I don't care what it looks like today, I know what's coming tomorrow. But belief ain't born overnight. It's built layer by layer, tested in the dark, forged in the fire, and proven in the storm. Thomas Edison, he failed over 1,000 times before he finally gave the world the light bulb. Someone asked him, "Aren't you frustrated after all those failures?" He looked him straight in the eye and said, "I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways that won't work." Now, that, my friend, is belief. See, it's easy to believe when things are going your way. When the sun is shining and the checks are coming in and folks are clapping for you, belief feels like second nature. But what about when the phone don't ring, when the bank account's dry, when the doctor delivers news you didn't expect? That's when belief really gets tested. And that's when most people fold, but not you. No, sir, not you. Because by the time I'm done talking to you today, you're going to know how to build a belief system that holds you up when nothing else will. A belief that doesn't bend to circumstance. It bends circumstance to itself. Now let's talk mindset, because your belief system starts right there, between your ears. Your mind is the soil, and what you plant, you grow. You can plant fear or you can plant faith. You can water doubt or you can water determination, but don't kid yourself. You're planting something either way. Most folks, they wake up and start reacting. They turn on the news, they check their phones, they scroll, and by the time they put their shoes on, they've already surrendered their peace. Why? Because they're letting the world write their beliefs instead of writing them themselves. Let me ask you something. Who's sitting in the director's chair of your mind? Is it you? Or is it every worry, critic, and past failure you've ever known? I'll tell you what I've learned after years of speaking, selling, teaching, and failing my way to the top. Belief isn't passive, it's a practice. You've got to train your thoughts the way a warrior trains for battle. You don't just hope they'll be strong when the fight comes. You prepare them. You speak to yourself the way a champion speaks to their team before the big game. You look in the mirror, and instead of saying, "I'm not enough," you say, "I've got what it takes. I may not be there yet, but I'm moving forward. I am not done." Because belief begins in the words you speak to yourself when no one else is around. And it continues with vision. Oh, friend, if you ain't got vision, you're just walking in circles. Vision is what pulls you forward when your legs are tired. Vision is what keeps you going when every door slams shut. It's what gives purpose to the pain and direction to the struggle. The great Napoleon Hill, the man who studied the most successful people of his time, said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Now don't just skim past that. Let that sink in. He didn't say whatever's reasonable. He didn't say whatever's easy. He said whatever the mind can conceive and believe. But you got to see it first. See yourself on the stage. See yourself signing the deal. See yourself healthy, whole, joyful, strong. See it so clearly it's more real to you than the situation you're in. Now, folks will laugh. They always do. They'll say you're dreaming too big. They'll tell you to be realistic. But let me remind you, every airplane was once unrealistic. Every skyscraper, every smartphone, every moon landing, all of it was impossible until someone believed anyway. So if you want an unstoppable belief system, you've got to stop renting space in your mind to people who don't pay rent. Stop listening to people who've never built anything trying to tell you how to build your dream. You need clarity like a compass, because belief without direction is just noise. Clarity asks, who do I want to be? What do I stand for? What am I willing to go through to become the person I'm meant to be? You've got to know what you want so clearly that when the storm hits, and it will, you can plant your feet and say, I didn't come this far to give up now. I know where I'm going. And let me tell you, storms don't come to destroy you. They come to reveal you. They show you what your roots are made of. They strip away the fluff and leave behind the truth. But a tree with deep roots, it doesn't break, it bends. You, my friend, were born to bend through the storm, not break in it. Now let's talk about purpose. Because belief without purpose is like a ship without a rudder. It might float, it might move, but it's got no direction. And purpose is what gets you out of bed when motivation runs dry. Purpose is what fuels belief when you've been knocked down for the 10th time and you're still bleeding from the 9th. You want an unstoppable belief system? Then stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. Align with your why, because your why will do more for your belief system than any success book or seminar ever could. Your why is personal. It's deep. It's sacred. You think Martin Luther King Jr. marched because he felt like it every day? You think he stood behind podiums with threats on his life because it was comfortable? No, sir. He did it because he had a vision that was bigger than his fear, and a why that outshouted the noise of hate and doubt. That's what purpose does. It gives you strength that don't make sense on paper, and when you've got that kind of belief, one rooted in who you are and what you're here to do, you become dangerous, not to people, but to doubt, to mediocrity, to the idea that you're just average. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to build, to lead, to ignite something this world has never seen before. Now let's move to goals, because belief without action is like faith without works. It's empty. Goals are beliefs with legs. They're the blueprint for your vision. You need goals like a builder needs plans. You wouldn't hire someone to build you a house and just say, go for it. Figure it out as you go. So why would you treat your life with any less care? But I'm not just talking about any goal. I'm talking about the kind of goals that scare you a little bit, the kind that stretch you, the kind that force you to grow into a new version of yourself just to reach them. Write them down. Speak them out loud. Track them like a hawk. And don't you dare let the fear of imperfection stop you from starting. Let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. You don't have to believe in the whole mountain on day one. You just have to believe in the first step, and then the next, and then the next. See, success is a staircase. One decision, one commitment, one courageous action at a time. And yes, you'll fall, you'll trip, you'll doubt yourself. That's not failure, that's feedback. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than most politicians even enter, but he kept running. Why? Because he believed that who he could become mattered more than what he had been. And eventually, he became one of the most remembered leaders in history. So don't you let yesterday's missteps rob you of tomorrow's miracles. Now let's talk action, because belief gets loud when you move. When you wake up and take that walk, when you make the call, when you send the email, when you show up sweaty palmed, knees shaking, heart pounding, but you show up anyway. That's when belief starts growing roots. Every action you take is like watering the soil. And I promise you nothing will grow if all you do is stare at the seed. You gotta work, you gotta hustle with heart, you gotta grind with grace. And in that grind, my friend, you're gonna find something beautiful, gratitude, because nothing fuels belief like recognizing how far you've come. We live in a world that loves to chase what's next. More, bigger, faster, but pause with me for a second and breathe. Remember the you who prayed for what you have now? The you who dreamed of even getting the chance to try? Gratitude is the gateway to abundance. It turns what we have into enough, and from that place, we create more. You don't have to wait to feel grateful. Start now. Be grateful for the lessons, even the painful ones, because the struggle, that's the sharpening stone. Every storm you've survived was preparing you to be stronger than the next one, and don't get me wrong, they'll keep coming. That's just life. But each one you walk through with your belief intact is proof that you're not just surviving, you're building. Let me paint you a picture. A tree grows its deepest roots during the drought. Not in the rain, not when the sun's shining and everything's easy. It digs deep when the ground is dry. Why? Because that's when it has to. And maybe right now, that's you. Maybe life feels dry. Maybe the money's tight. The relationships are shaky. The future looks blurry. But what if this isn't the end? What if this is the season where your roots grow deeper than ever before? What if years from now you'll look back and say, that was the chapter where I built the kind of belief that couldn't be broken? You want to outlast the storm? Then you need a belief that doesn't depend on what you see. It depends on what you know. You've got to know that your value is not tied to your bank account. You've got to know that your purpose isn't canceled because of a detour. You've got to know that there's more in you. Not someday, not when it's perfect, but right now. You don't build an unstoppable belief system by waiting for motivation. You build it by choosing truth over and over when fear is screaming louder. And let me tell you something that's as true today as it was the first day I picked up a microphone. You were born to rise. You were born to lift others as you climb. You were born to live a life so bright, so bold, so full of fire and vision and joy that people look at you and say, if they can do it, maybe I can too. That, my friend, is legacy, and it begins with belief. Now lean in close, because this part, it ain't about hustle and it ain't about goals. This is about the core of who you are. This is about building a belief system that's not glued together by hype, but forged in fire. Because here's the truth. Life will test you, not once, not twice, but again and again and again. It'll whisper in your ear when you're tired. You're not enough. You're too late. It'll never happen for someone like you. And if you don't have your belief locked down deep in your bones, you'll listen. You'll shrink. You'll stall. You'll settle for a version of life that's less than the one you were born to live. But not you, not anymore, because now you know. Belief, true, unshakable belief, isn't about pretending everything's perfect. It's not about plastering a smile over your struggles. It's about standing tall in the middle of the storm and saying, I may bend, but I will not break. I may hurt, but I will not quit. I may fall, but I will not stay down. And listen, I know what it feels like to have days when everything feels too big, when the dream looks a million miles away and your heart's carrying a weight no one else sees. But I also know what it feels like to keep going anyway, to speak victory over your life when no one else is clapping, to believe in your comeback while you're still in the valley. That's real power. That's real strength. That's what makes you unstoppable. You see, success doesn't belong to the smartest or the fastest or even the most talented. It belongs to the ones who refuse to stop believing. People like Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked how it felt to fail that many times, you know what he said? I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. That's what belief does. It redefines failure. It gives new meaning to setbacks. It turns pressure into power. Napoleon Hill once said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But the key word there isn't achieve, it's believe. Because without belief, your imagination is just a movie. With belief, it's a blueprint. You've got to see it, feel it, trust it. Even when the world says, no, that's impossible. Even when the odds say, you're done. Even when the mirror says, who do you think you are? You answer back, wow, I am becoming. And I'm not finished yet. Belief is not about ignoring reality. It's about shaping it, transforming it, refusing to be defined by it. When you build an unstoppable belief system, your circumstances don't get the final say. You do. You decide how you show up. You decide what story you tell yourself. You decide whether today is another excuse or the beginning of your breakthrough. And let me remind you, belief is not a solo act. Find the people who fan your flames, not dampen them. Surround yourself with voices that stretch you, not shrink you. Because just like doubt is contagious, so is belief, so is hope, so is purpose. And every single day, you get to choose which one you carry with you. Let me end with this. You are not here by accident. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are building something far greater than a goal sheet or a vision board. You are building a mindset that can weather any storm. A heart that keeps beating even when it's bruised. A spirit that won't quit even when the lights go out. And one day, when the dust settles and the crowd clears, you'll look back and realize you didn't just survive, you became slowly came. You didn't just reach the top, you climbed it storm by storm, step by step, breath by breath. You earned it, you believed. And that belief lit a fire so fierce inside you that nothing could put it out. So hold your head high, stand in your truth, and walk forward with the kind of belief that outlasts every storm. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs you, awake, alive, unshakable, and full of fire. Let's go get it.